Let's explore insightful wisdom about our circumstances. This evening's lesson is drawn from Green Heroine's Easy Meditation, inspired by Dzogchen Trul Rinpoche's Final Meditation Manual. There are some people whose entire self-esteem is predicated upon kicking others when they're down. These are cruel people with shriveled hearts, but they're very, very good at striking at our vulnerabilities. These are the people who, when our circumstances are at their most difficult, will tell us that our failure to manifest ideal circumstances is some sort of a spiritual indictment. Yes, that is what they teach. Listen, between you and I, our circumstances can vary wildly, from the interesting to the boring, from the glorious to the grotesque. What we experience is not an indictment. However, what we do with our experience is a bit of a barometer of where we're at spiritually. We are allowed to feel the full spectrum of emotions. What do we do with those emotions about what's going on in our lives? Then I'm going to share some very, very deceptively easy techniques that, if you apply them regularly, could act like a bit of a life lubricant. It won't stop bad things from happening or bad people from doing bad things, but it will help you to work through it. Let us view letting go through a physiological lens as we bring the experience of the four bases of mindfulness into the ultimate path of love and letting go, where it is letting go that is emphasized. This is known by many names, including Generation Stage, Tantra Mahamudra, Mahayoga, and Tokal's pole vault or leap over pride. Please chant with me. Those who tread that path of Devata are caught in the thrall of rigidity, confused metaphors or literal statements. Upon this path of the Buddha, we relax into flexibility, savoring the chants that explain these metaphors as similes. So we're going to divide this in half. Let's chant the first part right now. As we inhale, all circumstances or lots could appear quite vivid. So we are wired in such a way so that every time we inhale, whether we know it or not, we access our sympathetic nervous system, ensconced not within the 3-pound supercomputer between our ears, but found in the thoracic region of our spinal cord. It evolved to support neither extreme of mind blanking or active concentration, but instead to merely notice, and to do so vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and randomly. One of the many things we can observe is our circumstances. We can observe them visually, auditorily, kinesthetically, gusturally, and olfactorily. We can see, hear, feel, taste, and smell our circumstances. We evolved in such a way as to have survival mechanisms that would protect us from pathogens that smell bad, or protect us from predators that look or sound scary. Feeling an aversion towards certain things or feeling an attraction to other things is not an indictment. The cause of our suffering is not the mere presence of our survival drives, but rather their tyranny. So what follows is going to help us to experience what we experience without having our choices, utterances, or deeds hijacked by them. So we continue with our chanting with from the top, if you please. As we inhale, all circumstances or lots could appear quite vivid. Yet as we relax into our exhalation, they could feel as not graspable or void as a real or imagined paradise or vati of light. So we're going to start with the literal and then move to the figurative. Literally, every time we exhale, whether we know it or not, we access our parasympathetic nervous system. It too is found in our spinal cord, specifically in the lower lumbar region, as well as the tippy top of the cervical region. It evolved to support both our physical relaxation as well as our mental release. So I'm going to gesture wildly. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever circumstances we perceived during our inhalation could begin to feel less graspable. They could begin to feel as non-graspable. And by the use of the word as here, we know what's coming as a simile. You could feel as non-graspable or void as a real or imagined paradise or vati comprised only of light. So, it's not our job to believe in a paradise of light. It's not our job to disbelieve in a paradise of light any more than it's our job to believe or disbelieve in Jack and the Beanstalk or what color underwear Darth Vader wears. These are fictions that serve us as figures of speech and nothing more. So, having played with the idea that our inhalation and our exhalation can help us to let go, well, I'm going to put it into action now for just a few minutes. The easiest way to practice perceptive mindfulness is to silently and mentally recite "notice this" during our inhalation. And likewise, the easiest way to practice releasing meditation is to silently and mentally recite the verb relaxing during each exhalation. Let's play with this right now. I do look forward to chanting and meditating with you after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I spent more than 8 hours a day every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of Buddhism so that you wouldn't have to. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. Now, if at any point you have a specific question about Buddhist chanting, Buddhist meditation, Buddhist philosophy, or how to apply them, please type your question in great detail in the chat window. If it looks like my face is sagging and my eyes are half masked, that's because I have many disabilities, and some days I'm less energetic than others. Please don't take it personally. I'm not disabled because of the meditation, and this is no reflection on my enthusiasm to be of service to you. So, green heroin is known in Sanskrit as Shyamatara, and known in Tibet as Drol Zhang. It's a mistake to think of this entity as something to be worshipped or supplicated. Better it is to think of her as an archetype, whose iconography simply reminds us of the fact that we are already wired to easily and quickly master the Buddha's path. We shall use the exercise of recitation to train our neural pathways in empathy and enthusiasm. We're going to begin with a set of recitations. The first is rather lengthy, and we're going to set it to a quasi-triplet chant together. May I liberate all beings from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging by relying on the Buddha's example, instructions, and students. So, why do I place my hands in the puckered palm position before my chest? Doing so invites my subtle energies to coalesce within my central channel. If you experiment with this gesture, you might experience similar results. We're now going to play with the same idea, but in a more concise and more figurative manner, and we're going to set it to a bookend chant, which we are going to recite 3 times together. May I liberate all beings by relying on the 3 jewels. May I liberate all beings by relying on the 3 jewels. May I liberate all beings by relying on the 3 jewels. Together. May all master letting go and love, as well as kind communication, conduct, and calmness. May all master the effortless effort of love-centered spontaneity, as well as mindfulness and meditation. So, as I mentioned during class, our sympathetic nervous system evolved to notice things in a manner that does not indulge either extreme of mind blanking or active concentration. That begs the question: if we are not to actively concentrate upon our breath, then what are we to do with it? We are to treat it the way a piano student treats a metronome. When we notice our body spontaneously inhaling, we could silently and mentally recite the 12 syllables, perceiving this very turbulence play of mind. When we notice our body exhaling, we could silently and mentally recite the additional 12 syllables, relaxing into minds non-graspable nature. Now, this is a clunky exercise. We're only going to do it for a few minutes. Think of it as warming up. Let us contemplate the iconography of this archetype of enlightened activity. We shall begin with bliss and letting go, known by many names, including Bindu Mahamudra, Anu Yoga, and Tikle's channels, winds, and drops. Despite that grandiose explanation, is rather simple. Please chant with me. I and all living beings as extensive as space, have her crowns of white lotus and moon seeds. So we switch from a 12-syllable exercise down to a 3-syllable exercise. During our inhalation, let us silently and mentally recite sitting tall, and during our exhalation, let us silently and mentally recite relaxing. Playing with this exercise can remind your body to generate a vertical traction between your tush and your head. Let's continue with the chanting. Upon ground's lotus and moonseed from a syllable. Let's try this again. Upon ground. I think we could use a preposition. Upon the crown's lotus and moonseed from a syllable, Lama rises the archetype green autumn. Her body is comprised of green light. She has 2 hands and 1 face. Her right hand resting on her right knee is in the giving mudra. Her left hand is at her heart with the ring finger and thumb pressed together, holding the stem of the blue udpala flower which blossoms at her left ear. So we're going to play with a different variation of the 3-syllable exercise. This time during the inhalation, we could silently and mentally recite, "Notice this." And during our exhalation, we could silently and mentally recite, "Relaxing." Together. She is peaceful, smiling, and fully matured, adorned with all the precious garments and ornaments. Her left foot is tucked in and her right foot is slightly extended, in preparation for the inevitability of death. On the top of her head appears a Numenakaya form of Amitabha. Now we come to the 1-syllable exercise. During our inhalation, we can silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this. And during our exhalation, we could recite the 1-syllable verb ease, which functions as a synonym of relax. Having successfully climbed to contemplative cruising altitude together as a team, let us meditate as transformatively as Obi-Wan Kenobi upon the sands of Tatooine under the guidance of the Force Ghost of Qui-Gon Jinn. Let us bring the 5 body regions into the path of bliss and letting go. Together, as we relax into our exhalation, whatever lower abdomen we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as real or imagined Dhamma cerebral of green light. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever navel we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as a real or imagined Ratna Sambhava cerebral drum of gold light. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever chest we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as real or imagined, nakshobhya hung of blue light. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever throat we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as real or imagined, amitabha syllable 3 of red light. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever crown or scalp we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as real or imagined, Vairocana syllable of white light. And now let us rest the mind. As we breathe in, we could silently and mentally recite the demonstrative pronoun this, thus observing vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and randomly. As we exhale, we could silently and mentally recite the one-syllable verb ease, thus physically relaxing and mentally releasing. Now let us bring the 5 perceptions into the path of awareness and letting go. This is the ultimate offering to the teacher, simply applying the instructions of mindfulness and meditation. Together. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever sight we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as a vast empty void. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever sound we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as a vast empty void. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever scent we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as a vast empty void. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever flavor we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as a vast empty void. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever sensations As we relax into our exhalation, whatever sensation we might have noticed during our inhalation could begin to feel as non-graspable as a vast empty void. Let us rest the mind. Now let us bring the experience of the four bases of mindfulness into the conventional path of love and letting go, wherein it is love that is emphasized. Please chant with me. Those who tread that path of Devadatta squander time and energy with contrivances of visualization, emotion, magic, and belief. Upon this path of the Buddha, we simply recite these words in harmony with all breathing and allow our subconscious to do the heavy lifting. May all minds of all beings now be as peacefully wise as the mind of a real Lord. Imagine Buddha symbolized by a tikle one-syllable zero bija mantra. May all relationships of all beings now be as joyfully loving as a real or imagined Buddha's communication symbolized by this 10-syllable mantra. May all bodies of all beings now enjoy the beautiful health seen in Buddhist art, depicting the blissful body of a real or imagined Deva or Yidam archetype of enlightenment such as Green Tara. May all circumstances or lots of all beings now have the good fortune or boon, as a Buddha's real or imagined paradise, pure land or vati. Let's rest the mind. Let us view letting go through a physiological lens as we bring the experience of the four bases of mindfulness into the ultimate path of love and letting go, where it is letting go that is emphasized. The screen might go berserk. I will tend to it momentarily. Those who tread that path of Devadatta, caught in the thrall of rigidity, confuse metaphors for literal statements. Upon this path of the Buddha, we relax into flexibility, savoring the chants that explain these metaphors as similes. As we inhale, all circumstances or lots could appear quite vivid. Yet as we relax into our exhalation, they could feel as not graspable or void as a real or imagined paradise or vati of light. As we inhale, all bodies or forms could feel quite sensual. Yet as we relax into our exhalation, they could feel as not graspable or void as a real or imagined archetype or yidam of light. As we inhale, the interpersonal experience of communication or speech could sound quite resounding. Yet as we relax into our exhalation, it could feel as non-graspable or void as a real or imagined mantra of light. As we inhale, we could notice all minds, perceptions, emotions, intentions, cognitions, recollections, and imaginings quite clearly. Yet as we relax into our exhalation, they could feel as non-graspable or void as a real or imagined bija seed suitable of light. Let's rest the mind. So let us view letting go. That's an interesting way to spell that word. Let us view letting go through a philosophical lens, as we bring the illusion of the horizontal duality of us and them into the dance of impermanence and interdependence known as Madhyamaka's yoga of inconceivability. Together. Whoops. In a moment. All circumstances or loss could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could absorb into this body or form. All bodies or forms could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could absorb into this communicational speech. All interpersonal speech could be as impermanent and interdependent as if it could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could absorb into this mind. All minds could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could absorb into a vast empty void. Like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which although tantalizing to the eye could be not graspable to the hand. Again, let us rest the mind. Let us chant the Dharani explaining this mantra's meaning. O Mama Chittara, swift and courageous, you drive away all fears with Chittara's meditation. Heroine fulfilling all aims with today's mindfulness, thus with a suitable Soha, may it be so. For the remainder of this evening's practice, let us bring the spontaneous play of mind into the path of awareness and letting go. To make the most out of this mantra meditation, during our inhalation, please silently and mentally recite the italicized sentence, relaxing into this. Back in the early 90s or late 80s, Faith No More had a song, Epic. And one of the lines was, "What is this? What is this?" In this circumstance, this is whatever we notice in the moment, vulnerably, passively, viscerally, and randomly. It might be a sight, a sound, a sensation, a flavor, a scent, or the like. It might be an emotion, an intention, a thought, a memory, or an imagining. It might be external or internal, physical or mental, pleasurable or painful, interesting or boring, glorious or grotesque. What do we do with that which we notice? Simple. We physically relax as best we can while striving to chant these 10 syllables 4 times per breath. Tare nu na nu nu ri so wa. 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 And again, as a refreshing change of pace, let's rest the mind. Sorry guys, I'm super pooped. I'm going to have to cut this evening's practice short. Together. May all minds be as wise as Tara's, may all speech be as loving as Tara's. May all forms be as healthy as Tara's, and may all lots be as fortunate as Tara's. May every meditation teacher truly understand the Buddha's teachings, and practice master as well as instruct them generously, lovingly, and wisely in the manner of centered spontaneity. May all meditation teachers spontaneously receive. Generous patrons, enthusiastic students, as well as devoted apprentices. And may many Dharma centers likewise be successfully planted, nurtured, and supported. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 11 and a quarter hours, I would very much like to return to lead tomorrow's early meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.